I try and start each day by reading a section from the Bible and trying to understand what God might be saying to me through it, and then I pray. Lockdown has been really hard for people in lots of different ways, and one of the things that we found difficult has been moving my mother from her home of 30 years into sheltered housing. It's been really interesting that in the last fortnight of clearing and sorting before she moved, the Bible readings that I was using were around the story of Joseph in the end of the book of Genesis. And one of the verses that jumped out both to me and also to my mother, because she uses the same Bible reading scheme as I do, was where Joseph speaks to his brothers. When Joseph finally reveals himself to his brothers, he said, "I'm your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now don't be distressed and don't be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now there's been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there won't be any ploughing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve you for a remnant on earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance." And later on he said more or less the same thing again to them. God sent me ahead, so the things that they had done to him, which were horrible, God had gone ahead of him to prepare the way, to make the path, and God had an eye on the bigger picture. And my mum took that as a great comfort, that God had gone ahead of her to prepare this flat that she's moved into and a community of people to care for her in this really tough time when we can't go in and care for her. But together we believed that that was the right move for her at this really tough time. And actually later on, Jacob, Joseph's father, moved to the land of Egypt. And the Bible tells us that he lived for another 17 years, even though he was ancient when he moved. He had 17 years in the land of Egypt with his precious son Joseph. And I believe that my mum is going to live and thrive, even though she's 88, maybe not for 17 years, but I hope that she will know God's presence with her in the place where she's now living.